My father was a big man in the community. He was a big man in general. He was a veteran, and he was a Golden Glove boxer. He had a lot going on. But I've never remembered seeing him raise his voice in anger. Never. And that was the foundation of Horace.
That's the voice of actor Ricco Ross. He's our guest, along with filmmaker Phil Thornton, on this week's edition of Conversations from Studio 5. Both are part of the holiday film called Unexpected Christmas. It's a combination comedy and drama. And at the center is a family who reunites for Christmas. All is going well until it's not. Chaos ensues, secrets are revealed, and rivalries are resurrected. We begin our conversation with Ricco Ross.
What was it about this story that brought it to you and made you say yes?
Well, I get a lot of scripts coming across my desk, but this one came with an offer, so that was I'd put it at the top of the pile. Mm-hmm. But it all starts with the script, though. Mm-hmm. If you have a good script, and then you can put the other pieces together, then you have a fighting chance, because there is luck in this business. Sometimes you can have all the elements and it still doesn't work out. Mm-hmm. But if you have a good script, you're ahead of the game. And this script was particularly good for me because I'm on a TV series now called Beauty in Black, where I play a character that's quite the contrary of Mr. Willie in Unexpected Christmas. Mm-hmm. And so what I don't want to do is I don't want to do too many roles that are very similar to each other, mm-hmm. because it is easy for people to think that's all you can do. And so when this came across, I was like, oh, beautiful. The other thing is this character is he comes into, he meets a woman and it becomes a blended family, and he comes with his daughter. Mm-hmm. And it's very similar to my family. I have a blended family as well. Okay. I came with 2 kids and my wife came with 2 kids. And so it's, and some of the issues that were happening in the movie are real life issues that happen in my family. So it was not a stretch for me at all.
So were you able to sort of, I guess, help script, ad-lib, improv in doing it?
No, it was pretty much baked into the script. I didn't have to do a lot. Whenever I do a film, if I'm inspired, I will go with that inspiration. Mm-hmm. Or if I'm with an actor who's inspired and he goes off script, I'll go with him. But a lot of it was baked into the film. As a matter of fact, when we went to the screening in Los Angeles, my daughter was sitting next to me, and at one point she started crying, and I knew she started crying because she saw herself on that screen.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is it about the themes of this movie that you think are going to resonate with people like your daughter and viewers mm-hmm. watching, especially as we are now starting the holiday season?
Well, this movie in particular, it's a Christmas movie. Mm-hmm. It has a black cast, but the thing about this movie is that it deals with human issues. And so it doesn't matter what culture you come from, mm-hmm. what complexion you may be, or religion. These human issues are going to be the same human issues that you're dealing with. And so when you see the film, you will see people that in your family on the screen. You will see people that you know on the screen. And I think it will resonate with everybody. And I think because it's a comedy, I call it a dramedy, mm-hmm. because there is drama, it's a hot mess sometimes. But there's comedy in it because we have comedians like Laurel, and we have Tabitha Brown, and we have Howie Bell, and those guys bring the funny. And so because there's human comedy in there, mm-hmm. I think that it makes a lot of these issues much more palatable.
Talk about the cast for a minute. You get to play with a lot of really impressive people. What was that like? What was life like on the set?
It was, I come back to the word family. I walk on set, and when I started in this business over 4 decades ago, I was often, when I would step on set, I would be the only person of color, mm-hmm. and in the crew there wouldn't be many people of color either. And so when you walk on a set, when when it's that type of diversity, it feels comfortable, and it feels natural, and it feels like family. It feels like home.
Mm-hmm. And do you have an affinity or love for doing Christmas movies?
It seemes like I do, because I've got 5 under my belt now. So it might seem that way, but I've done over 120 projects. So of course there are going to be some Christmas projects in there. I must say though, it is a beautiful time of year, mm-hmm. and Christmas movies often are movies of joy, of family, and so Yeah, it's great to do it. I do a lot of drama as an actor. I'm 6'3", close to 200 pounds, so I'm often playing the alpha male. And to do Christmas movies, you can actually just have fun on screen, you know.
Enjoyed you in this, and certainly a lot of fun. But as you said, you have a reputation for playing the stoic, strong male figure. And you've been in this business how long now?
43 years.
43 years.
Yes.
What's that journey been like?
It's been a roller coaster. It's been up and down. You know, there are peaks and valleys in this business. And what I tell young people when you get into it, you know, don't wait to be happy once you reach your goal, because some people never reach the goal. I say you have to learn to enjoy the journey. And if you can do that, then you're good to go. Otherwise, you can find yourself being very bitter. But yeah, I'll do a project and it hits hot, and then all of a sudden I'm all the rage, and then you know everything goes quiet and you're just a regular guy again. And it's all good, you know, because it keeps you humble. And I think in this business, you know, you need humility. I think men in general need humility, and especially if you're a male actor, you probably need a little more.
Do you remember when the bug bit you? When you knew this was what you were called and wanted to do?
I remember, so I'm from Chicago originally, and I went to my parents split up and we moved from Illinois to Florida. And I didn't want to move down south, but we had to. And the school I was going to, I was bused to. And it was in an affluent neighborhood, and the school was called Plantation. So you can imagine a 13-year-old boy going to the South, and his high school is called Plantation High. So it was a bit of a culture shock. But the school that I was going to was, they were just housing us while our new school was being built. And I would get there early sometimes and try and sneak in. And this one teacher caught me sneaking in, and she wouldn't let me in. And then I said, well, I left my books in there, and she could tell I was lying. And then a little girl walked up and said that she had left her book, little white girl, by the way, and she let her go get her book. But the little girl wasn't lying. I was. She read me like a book. But I was so convincing that I got watery eyes and all that, and I'm just telling her that, you know, you should let me in too. And she just said, you know, I'm not going to let you in, but you are going to be in my play.
Are you serious?
I played the race card and everything, and she read right through all of it and said, you're going to be in my play. And I was in her play, and I was in two more after that, and that's where I got the bug. So I didn't find acting. This lady, Miss Culpepper, she found me. She found me, and she saw this boy had this energy, and he had this passion, and it was misdirected, and she decided to direct it in the right direction.
What do you think kept you going all these years, especially since there have been ebbs and flows and projects here and times of low? What kept you going? This business does have a lot of ebbs and flows, and your bills come every month, but the paycheck doesn't come every month. So as a young man, my family often, they really believed in business. And I went to school. I went and got a master's degree. After a master's degree, I worked in Hollywood, got typecast as a gang member, and then went and studied Shakespeare in London. And so with all of that, I felt like I had prepared myself for this business, and I was in it for the long run. And so during the slow times, you know, I persisted, and I think that's something that young actors and young people in this business in general, whatever business you're in, there are going to be ups and downs, and you have to be persistent and consistent. Nice. Don't give up.
Yeah.
And I read that you feel there's still better days ahead and so much more than what's
when you read that, when I said that, that was before Beauty in Black. And after Beauty in Black, I still feel that way. I still feel that my best work is yet to come. As you get older, you gain more perspective, and you can bring that to a role. You just have to find the right role where you get an opportunity to show it.
I would be crucified if I did not ask you, how is Horace Bellery?
I got to say, I've had a lot of peaks in my career, but the Beauty in Black fans they're real. They're the real deal, man. And I always know when it's Beauty in Black that they recognize me from the shout that I hear, you know, or the cry or something, or the, you know, because I guess he's such a hot mess, you know, that people, you either love him or you hate him. But no, it's been a real pleasure playing this character, Horace, because he's so complex. You know, when you first meet him, you think that he's just this poor senior citizen on a fixed income. Later, you find out he worth hundreds of millions. When you first meet him, you think that he's weak, and you later found out that he's not the one to take for weakness. Mm-hmm. When you first meet him, you feel that he's extremely homophobic, and later on you find out that he may be a little himself. Mm-hmm. You know, so he comes across sometimes as the protagonist and other times as the antagonist. So to play a role like that, if you've got the chops, it really is an opportunity to show what you can do.
I'm among those fans, by the way.
Oh, thank you, thank you, brother.
What's the inspiration? Where do you go to bring him to life?
My father.
Really?
That's the foundation. My father was a big man in the community. He was a big man in general. He was a veteran, and he was a Golden Glove boxer. He had a lot going on, but I've never remembered seeing him raise his voice in anger, never. And that was the foundation of Horace. Horace, you can see everybody else will be going crazy around him, but you know the king doesn't shout. The king waits for everybody else to be quiet so they can hear him. And so that was my way of doing it. And not only that, I also took away a lot of the swear words. There are a lot of swear words in the series, don't get me wrong. But I took a lot of mine away because I felt he didn't need it. And then when he did use them, I thought they would have more power.
I love it. Well, I will say what many people are thinking, he can't die. We need that cure. Last question for you. If you could go back and give your younger self advice as we sit here more than 40 years in the business now, what would you tell that little boy?
Wow, Efrem, that's a good question, man. I think I would tell him, first of all, you're going to be fine. Be patient. And this ride is going to take you around the world 2 or 3 times before you know it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Efrem.
We continue our conversation from Studio 5 with filmmaker Phil Thornton. He's the CEO of Three Diamonds Entertainment. This is the first feature film under the company. He shares the story behind the film and talks about his journey as a filmmaker.
So you are a producer and distributor for Unexpected Christmas.
Yes.
How does it feel to see your work come to life in this way?
I am grateful. I am still taking it all in, if I'm being honest. It's just to actually have an idea, go through the script process, the rewrites, casting. The producing part is one aspect, but then I said, oh, that's not enough. I want to self-distribute this film, so it's been great, and we're on screens across the nation. It's a blessing.
And this is the first time for distribution for you?
Yes.
What's that journey been like?
It hasn't been easy. I've learned a lot. I've worked closely with the theatrical booker, my guy Rob Lynch at Eamon Films, and he schooled me, and we've been on calls with the various exhibitors, AMC and Regal and Cinemark, and just knowing all that goes into it with the in-theater marketing. So it was a new challenge, but I learned so much. And I'm grateful. It's been fun. And I'll do it again.
I love that. Yeah. Take me back to the beginning. Where did Unexpected Christmas happen? What happened?
Unexpected Christmas. So I founded my company, Three Diamonds Films, with my business partner, Terrell Woodbury. And we were trying to figure out what was going to be that first project to kick our company off. And he received a script from Cassandra Mann, who's our writer. And we were like, hey, this is different. This is twists and turns. And it's not your typical Christmas movie. And we decided to film it last year in LA. And we actually did 2 movies at the same time. So, yeah, it was a bad idea. In hindsight, what were we thinking? But we did.
What was the other movie you were
The other movie is called The Fridge that I produced alongside Jamie Foxx.
Okay. And
it stars Megan Good and Courtney B. Vance, Marseille Martin, and a host of others. So, yeah, but we did them both literally on top of each other. Yeah. I'm running back and forth to different sets. I have a Come to Unexpected. He would go to Fridge, and we would just be back and forth. So, yeah, but we made it.
So what's it like to be on the set of Unexpected Christmas as your first project of this magnitude with your company?
Yes.
What was that experience like in the cast that you managed to assemble?
It was just such a family environment. Like, it was fun showing up to set every day. I look forward to the lunch breaks and hearing the stories from different cast members, especially Ms. Anna Maria Horsford, who was the legend. She had great story time at lunch. But it was just a great environment. The cast was stellar. It was just love. It really was love on camera and family on camera, but also family off camera as well. So I'm just grateful to Tabitha Brown, who was our very first yes.
Wow.
After we decided we wanted to do the movie, she was the very first call, and she immediately was like, absolutely, yes, I'm in. And then she called Little Rel, and then it just kind of became a thing. And then, we reached out to Ricco and Anna Maria and Reagan, everyone with offers, and we literally, everyone who we wanted is on the screen. They're in the movie. Yeah.
That's not normal.
No, it's not normal. It's not. And so that's why I'm just like, okay, there's something special here. And we've been saying from the beginning of the press run, it was divine. And from the beginning to producing the film and funding the film and now distributing the film, just it's some favor for us all. But it's just been divinely orchestrated for real. Like, from start to finish, to the way the soundtrack came about, everything has just been seamless.
If you had to venture a guess as to why, what do you think it is?
Why do I think it is? I know why it is. It's God. This whole thing has been divinely orchestrated from the beginning. Wow. From the partnership with myself and Trell. We've been friends 20 years and just decided this was the season for us to collaborate and partner and create something special together. But it's God. And I make no qualms about that's the source, and that's the reason why this film will be a success, but everything else from Three Diamonds, it's gonna be massive. But he's breathing on it in a way that I haven't seen in quite some time. And I've worked in different buildings and had been a part of many successful projects and artist campaigns, but this is different.
Wow. How do we go from working on a business degree at Norfolk State to being a filmmaker?
Well, that's a journey. That's a journey. At one point, I thought the end goal for me was to be a music executive, which I'd done that. I did that a few times over, right? But during those times when I was in the building, I was still producing and developing myself as a producer and a director and producing different projects for different companies. And in 2023, I said, I don't want to make this my hobby, if you will. I want to go bet on me and step out on faith, and here we are. So, but I'm grateful. It's like, what? It was the best decision I could have made, but going from college and doing artist management, running different labels, and getting my feet wet and learning production, because I didn't know production at first. My first TV show I sold back in 2006, I didn't know how to, I was like, we sold it in a pitch meeting. And I was like, okay, now what do we do? How does this work? Like, okay, so we need cameras, we need some audio, we need lights, right? And so I'm just, we learned on the job. But fast forward many projects later, I've done unscripted, I've done scripted documentaries. My village, as I like to tell people, is like everyone always focuses on networking up and meeting the head of the studio or the head of the label. I was like, let me build my network across. Let me find the next generation of writers, producers, directors, and we're gonna grind it out together and create projects. And that's been the secret to my success and my faith.
Wow. What was that very first project?
The very first project was for a network called TV One. They had a show called I Married a Baller. It was with Taj and Eddie George. Yeah. So it was an unscripted reality show. And that was where I learned everything. I learned in a big way. And then I started doing independent films and other series, David and Tamla Mann series. And I knew a lot more by then. But that's where it started.
Yeah, I will say that for a reality series, theirs was one of the best I had seen. I don't watch much reality TV, but I did.
And it was authentic. It was really, we just turned the cameras on. It wasn't heavy-handed producers or manipulation. It was just like, let's turn the cameras on and because we didn't know. Yeah. So we're just like, okay, this is how it happens. And now I know that it's a little bit more intentionality involved. So, yeah.
Incredible. And you had a hand in the Luther Vandross documentary.
Yes. That was one of my favorite projects outside of Unexpected Christmas. The Luther documentary, Never Too Much. We won an Image Award. We won BET Awards. Just the love from the community and his fans it's just been overwhelming. And so, yeah, that was a dream come true because Luther was the soundtrack to my household and my life growing up. My mom, my uncles, my aunts, they all played Luther. I mean, they would go see him live, when he would come to like Hampton Coliseum or something like that. So that was a dream come true. And now we're working on the actual film, the biopic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that. Speaking of soundtrack, let's talk about the soundtrack for Unexpected Christmas.
Yes.
Some good Christmas music.
Yeah.
Some good music, period.
Yeah.
How did you assemble this cast of characters? We got Melanie Fiona, we got October London, we got Kevin Ross, we got Tamar Braxton.
Yes.
I could go on. How?
It was one of those things where we wanted to make the soundtrack an event alongside the film. Mm-hmm. And one of my business partners, Ron Hill, was courageous enough to work with me on this journey. And he said, I have the perfect producers and songwriters in mind. And I was like, okay. And then we sent them a copy, a rough cut of the movie, and they just started sending us back songs and demo ideas that could fit the different scenes. And I'm like, oh man, this is great. Yes. Mm-hmm. And then we started thinking about, well, who could sing the song? And because one of them was actually an AI demo. So we were like, okay, well, who could actually sing it? So we reached out to Kevin and October, October did his own. So he wrote the title track, Tamar Braxton, Melanie, and everyone, they nailed it. It was just like the perfect marriage from the song and the songwriter and the producer's work to the actual artist. So yeah, again, it all just fell into place, and everyone has been great to work with and promoting the soundtrack. And it's just going back to the days of when soundtracks mattered. In the 90s, I grew up where you had the great Soul Food and Boomerang and Waiting to Exhale, all these great movies, but also great soundtrack and companion pieces for the film. So,
gonna get you in trouble if you had to pick one as your favorite right now in this moment.
Song?
Mm-hmm. From this track, from the soundtrack.
You are getting me in trouble. But I have to say, I love October's title track, Unexpected Christmas. Mm-hmm. It was a phone call that we had and sent him a copy of the movie. And 48 hours later, it was a finished song in my inbox that he wrote, produced, mixed, mastered. Here you go. So I would say 48 hours. Yeah. So I would say October London, Unexpected Christmas, our title track. Wow. Yeah. That rarely happens. And there was nothing there. He hadn't seen the movie, so we sent him everything, the script, the creative brief, the movie itself, a rough cut. And he was like, got it, understood. So,
what lesson did you learn from this movie?
I learned a few lessons, but one is that anything is possible with faith, but also having a team to help execute the vision. Teamwork is big, but collaboration wins. That's one of my themes. Like, I'm really big on collaborating. And from the producers, Paris Camper, Trell, like just everybody, it was truly a team effort. And more so than the other projects in the past, this is truly a collaboration. But I've learned that collaboration wins. I've learned that the teamwork makes the dream work. I know it sounds cliche, but it's really real because it was long hours and everybody pulled together, cast, crew, and beyond, and just made something that I'm super proud of.
You should be. It's really well done. It will be one that we'll be watching every Christmas for many years to come. If you could go back and give young Phil, little Phil, some advice, what would you tell that little boy in light of all your twists and turns on the adventure thus far?
What would I tell him? I'm thinking I can see him now at Green Hill Farms Academy. Let's go back to kindergarten. I would tell him to I would tell him a lot, but I would tell young Phil to continue to be fearless, dream big, and as always, keep God first. Yeah, because he's gonna help you navigate some of those hills and valleys, and obviously in entertainment that happens. But those are some of the things I would tell him, and just dream big. Yeah, because sometimes when you get older, you start to learn the rules and how things, but I was so fearless as a child, and I just knew the possibilities were limitless. So yeah, I'm just telling him, dream, be fearless, go for it, and just stay prayed up.
Don't stop. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ricco Ross, by the way, is also playing a role in Tyler Perry's Beauty in Black. For more information on Phil Thornton and Three Diamonds Entertainment, go to their Instagram page at 3 Diamond Entertainment. We want to thank you for joining us for this week's edition of Conversations from Studio 5 and making us your weekly destination for uplifting interviews with a strong focus on faith. For more information on the show, be sure to check out our Facebook page, and you can find us on Instagram simply by searching Studio 5. I'll see you next week right here on the podcast.